So I'm going to tell you why I bought the Apple Watch Series 7, something that I had no intention of doing even 5 minutes before I hit the order button. But I kind of want to rewind a little bit and kind of explain to you my journey through the Apple ecosystem so that maybe this makes a little bit more sense. Earlier this year, I bought the MacBook Air with the M1 processor, and at the beginning of that video, I explained kind of my life through the Apple ecosystem and how I came to buying a laptop from them when I knew I wouldn't, which, by the way, the Apple Watch at one time fit into that category as well.
Might be becoming an Apple sheep, and this is not a good day for me. Started with an iPad. It's the best tablet out there. I used to say I like my phone's Android and my tablet's iPad because I wanted the best of both worlds. And then I started getting an iPad Pro because I was editing videos for this channel. It actually worked out better for me than even a desktop PC. So I got the better version of the iPad and I was off to the races. Then I decided, well, let me try an iPhone just because, I'm a YouTuber and I want to check it out. They made some good iPhones. So I started with the 11 Pro Max and ended up here with the 12 Pro Max. But that's as far as I'm going. I'm never going to go any further. Why would I do that? The phone is fine. I was using the iPad before I even had a YouTube channel. No big deal. Never get anything like an Apple Watch. But I used to use Samsung smartwatches all the time. So of course I wanted something like that. And so I ended up getting one of those. But there was no way in the world I was ever going to get AirPod Pros. Those things are trash and they're way too expensive. Anyway, I wasn't too worried about becoming an Apple sheep because ultimately a MacBook was way too expensive. And there's no reason for me to get one. Why would I need one? See, what had happened was...
So as you can see, I fell down the trap that Apple sets for all of us, which is you buy one thing, it works really good with another thing, and you just keep buying. Well, I had the Apple Watch because I've always had a smartwatch. As a matter of fact, I had a watch that was smarter than the average watch way before there was such a thing as an Apple Watch, the Casio, way back in the day. If you're old, you probably remember this thing, and it was epic. And then when smartwatches came out, I actually had the Sony smartwatch. I mean, we're talking way back in the day, before smartwatches were anything. With my Android phone and my smartwatch from Sony, I was super happy. And then Apple came into the game and changed the whole thing. Even though they came late, the Apple Watch has done nothing but change the entire landscape, not only of smartwatches, but the fact that people have had their lives saved by these things. So I had the Apple Watch Series 5 here for the last couple of years. And while I don't leave the house very much, which means I almost never use it, I had no interest in upgrading to the Apple Watch Series 7 until this one thing happened. And I'll be honest, I'm going to tell you right now, the reason that I bought this is definitely not going to be the reason that you're going to buy. You will not buy it for this reason because it's kind of a special circumstance for me, but I thought I would share it. So I'll tell you why I bought the Apple Watch Series 7 right after this.
This is, you listening to Travis.
What up, players? Welcome back. And for all you new people, welcome. My name's Travis and I do tech videos every single week, and we're going to talk about the Apple Watch Series 7 and why I bought one, despite the fact that I never really wanted one. Let's get into the video. So the Apple Watch Series 7 was released very recently, at least the pre-orders have been, and while it didn't match some of the leaks that happened before the event, it's still a newer Apple Watch. And quite frankly, all the way up until recently, you really haven't needed to upgrade your watch. Well, I should say the first couple of series of Apple Watches are much different than the more recent ones. Let me explain to you. So I have an Apple Watch Series 2 or something around here that periodically I need to update just to kind of check out what's new on the watch side of things. And while the smaller screen is already annoying to me, the worst thing about those earlier series watches is the fact that you can't do upgrades to the software at all without completely wiping them. And, updating or switching watches from one phone to the next is one of the most painful, un-Apple-like experiences ever. Like, switching an Android watch from one phone to another is a matter of just pairing the Bluetooth, and then you're basically done. I mean, I'm using it mainly for notifications, so that's essentially all I need. But for the Apple Watch, it's got to do some brain surgery behind the scenes or something. And the earlier Apple Watch, I think it's Series 2 and below, doesn't even have enough storage space in the watch itself to hold a firmware that you're downloading and a new one. So it's essentially got to wipe the whole thing and then up. It's painful. And those things are super slow. It's just so painful. But thankfully, since I have the Series 5 and it's fairly fast, I've not needed to worry about that. The Series 5 has a couple of new features over the older series of watches like the 4 and the 3 that kept me good enough. And to be honest, like, I'm not really leaving the house that often, so using a Apple Watch almost seems pointless. Like, I don't really wear it. Matter of fact, when I went to LA recently, I did wear it there, but I didn't really use it that much. I just, kept an eye on what type of notifications I get. And really, to be honest, if they just came out with a notification watch, I'd probably just buy that. But of course, the Apple Watch Series 7 has a couple of new features. The much larger display, which quite frankly to me is all the things they would need to do to make me more happy. I love the Series 5, but a larger display, I like larger display all the things. That's why I have an iPhone 13 Pro Max. That's why I always get the biggest phones, always get the biggest watches. So that's a plus. And while it's a little bit more scratch and crack resistant on the front face, that's awesome. Again, that's not another reason why I bought it. It might be a reason you might want to buy it. And I'll just say right now, if you have one of the earlier series of iWatches, the Apple Watches like the 3 or 2 or 1, you actually might want to upgrade. Especially if you can sell it off to a friend or a family member for a little bit of change. But I will say that the reason why I bought the Apple Watch Series 7, really the only reason, is because I got a good deal on it. That's it. For some reason this year, Best Buy's been doing some really great deals on the new Apple products. As a matter of fact, they were offering a better trade-in for your older iPhones than Apple themselves were. Plus, they were doing other little deals where they were cutting the price down, obviously through carrier subsidies, but regardless, they were doing some great things, and it looks like they're doing it again. If you're one of these special Best Buy people who spends way too much money at Best Buy like me, then you might get a little bit of a discount on the Apple Watch, in addition to some trade-in values on your older Apple Watches to bring the price down even more. And I had a couple $100 sitting in gift cards at Best Buy that were going to expire at the end of this month. So I only had a couple of weeks to spend them on something which there was really nothing else to spend them on. So this is the reason I got it, because it's basically like a $200 watch now. That is not a reason you should get one. It's the only reason I'm getting one. Plus, some of you might wonder what my thoughts are on the new 7. I think if you're going to upgrade, there's really only 2 camps you should fall into. Number one, if you have an older Apple Watch that's, maybe on its last legs, or you're tired of how slow it is and you want to upgrade. Or number 2, maybe you've never had an Apple Watch before and you're ready to take a dive in and see what all the fuss is about. The Series 7 is, of course, top of the line. And to spend $300 to $400 on a smartwatch is a bit of a daunting thing, especially if you've never had one before. If you don't wear watches at all, you still might be interested in an Apple Watch. But I will say that I think primarily people who use watches in their everyday life are the people that are going to benefit the most. Don't fall into the trap of, oh, my favorite tech YouTuber got an Apple Watch, so now I need to. It's not exactly the best thing for your wallet. And quite frankly, I'm not exactly excited to get this thing. It's just that I needed to use this credit. And I'm excited for you guys and gals, as I get to tell you if there's any kind of interest in you upgrading from something like the Series 5. Now, I had a Series 5 cellular version. I had a really good version of the Series 5, and I'm going to a Wi-Fi only version of the Series 7. So I'm kind of doing a side downgrade, and the fact that the Series 7 isn't as much of an upgrade as we thought it would be, it's more of a like Apple Watch 6.5, maybe you wouldn't be excited about it either. Well, at the end of the day, I'm getting it because I got a damn good deal on it. And a $200 upgrade on Apple Watch is a deal you should jump on all day long. Or if you can sell some old Apple Watches, or maybe you have some old Samsung watches or something, it might be worth checking out. The Apple Watch Series 7 may not be what we expected it to be, but it still will do a lot in the smartwatch game. Already, the Apple Watch has saved people's lives, which is mind-blowing. It's probably one of the most interesting and important movements in technology for the average consumer, so to speak, the everyday consumer. Apple Watch Series 7, here on the channel. Hit that subscribe button if you're new, hit the like button if you're not, and I'll see you next time. Peace and love.